Buddy, coming at you live. It's Keeping It Rio. This is episode number 83. And as you can see, we've got a very special guest here live for episode 83. So let me do us a quick favor and hit our intro. And we'll be right back with our man, Eric the Roofer, and many other special guests. Maybe not special guests, but special stuff. So stay tuned. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Keeping It Rio. It's episode 83, right? We got Jeremy up in the top and we've got Eric down here, but it's not our normal Eric. It's a completely different Eric altogether. Second guest appearance here on Keeping It Rio, Mr. Eric Richardson. Welcome to the show, sir. How you doing?
Good, and you?
I'm doing awesome. It's been so long since we've seen each other. We had lunch like 2 hours ago, but for the sake of small talk, how's everything going today? Tell us a little bit about your surroundings and what you're up to today. You're not in San Diego, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm in a hotel, chilling at that Drury. Is that how you say it?
I think so. I've never actually been able to afford staying there, so I've never learned how to say it.
Dude, I just went downstairs. So this place, they give you 3 free drinks a day, and so I went down there to just go check out the food because every day they have like this full like complimentary food thing. So I go down there, and the Holy Cross football team is down there, and they're like, the entire place is just packed with these football dudes, and I'm like, oh man. And I looked at the lady who's working. I was like, oh, you're probably stressing right now. You're gonna run out of food. Huh? And they're just carving up right now. It was like pulled pork sandwiches and baked potatoes, and dudes were just stuffing their pockets and rolling their shirts up with food and getting on the bus to go to the game.
I love it, man. That's the life of a college athlete, right? Not that I
Yeah.
would know, but good for them. They deserve to eat, right? They're bringing in the
Yep.
ticket sales. So that's pretty good. So you are here at the Drury in San Antonio, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a bittersweet trip. I had to come out and do some service for one of my guys.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
hey, for every down experience or reason for being somewhere, there's always going to be a positive. And you got to hang out with the guys from Rio Blanco
Exactly.
today, which
Yep.
I had an awesome time. I know my guys did. What was your impression of my team, if you don't mind me asking? And be totally honest, because Jeremy's right here and he can take a punch.
Yeah, you have a solid team, dude. I can tell that they look up to you because you lead with experience and knowledge and passion, and I can tell that they absorb that and they feed off of that. And I think that your team is it's got some really good talent. I think they're going to do a really good job. Once you take this solar off, you guys are going to be unstoppable.
I feel that to be the truth as well. And speaking of the solar, I just want to say thank you very personally because you spent a lot of time today talking to my guys about solar. We're still kind of breaking in and trying to learn as much as we can. And I think the information you gave us today was completely like just totally invaluable. There's no monetary value you could put on that. It's going to help us do millions of dollars, I hope, in sales and helping people save millions. So appreciate that. I think the perspectives were very unique. And one thing that I really appreciate about you, Eric, is I think that you think differently than I do. So when we talk, it's like, wow, he came to a completely different, completely different solution to this problem. And it's very fascinating to listen to your breakdown on how the solar and all that stuff worked. And dude, you're going to help us take off. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It's I've never, because California is so different. So we were all nail bangers. So I was never a skilled salesperson. I never did sales training. And so I've always just poured my passion into my work and then let that kind of speak for itself. And so there's so many, and I don't want to knock them because they're very valuable, A lot of, I would say 90% of the sales training is geared around objection jumping or pitches or how to close deals, how to push the paperwork in. And I just never been that person. My team is not that person. We were all roofers at our infancy of this getting into this line of work, and so we just evolved into our different ladders. And so if you can take your knowledge of the product, of the installation, of that process, and then throw in that sales training on top of it, that's where you expand out. That's where you become untouchable. But to just go and do that sales training, it's hard because people just don't want to be sold. You walk onto a car lot and the guy, "Can I help you?" You're like, "No, I'm just looking." They really don't want to be sold. And so if that mechanic came out and started a conversation with, I guarantee they would be asking that mechanic 1,001 questions. But the dude with the bow tie, they really don't want to ask him questions because they feel like they're going to get led into a trap, kind of. And so that's just how I've entered it. And I think that roofing salesmen, solar salesmen, any kind of a salesman should, it really boils down to that nut of you have to believe in what you're selling. You have to have knowledge in what you're installing and what you're selling. And so if your salesman he's never installed a roof, or he doesn't know how to install a roof, or that process, or the solar, how electricity works, how it converts, how it inverts, man, you're, I don't know, do you really trust that person? I just don't know. And so I want to come from a line of, I want them to feel secure with who they choose, that's going to give them the best knowledge and the best experience with that product.
Yeah, and in our talk today, it was really cool because you're in a completely different world than we are, and you made a very valid point today about California kind of being its own thing. I never really thought about this, but you asked me to name anybody else in the state of California that I knew that was a roofer, and I couldn't do it. So you're very unique in that aspect, but that kind of shows the differences between where we are in Texas with all this hail and your primary retail market. You were talking about, the differentiation between everybody there, the very simple things like not wanting to get up on someone's roof because you were not going to damage the tiles, but you were going to damage the underlayment. And, that was a very unique way of looking at things, because I've never seen or thought anything about that. I've never done tile because I've never been in that kind of an environment. But that's a huge difference. And I appreciate you taking the time, stopping into our office and talking to my guys, like I said, because it gave everybody a different perspective. I see Ant's here. He just jumped on Keeping It Rio, and
Howdy,
Ant's
howdy.
he's really new in the industry. So Ant, if you could, you met Eric today, and he gave a lot of insight on stuff, getting a kind of a fresh perspective from someone who hasn't really been through a lot of the training and stuff. What kind of stuff did you pick up on today at lunch, and what did you learn from Eric from his time hanging out with us?
Well, I mean, I don't want to go into detail. I mean, maybe that could be for another day, but I mean, it was a lot of, stuff and sharing like the secrets of the trade and stuff. And it's kind of one of those, like, why didn't I think of that? Like, what, like, it's just, like, dude, like, it was a pretty good lunch. I guess lunch and learn, if you will.
Absolutely. We got a whole new perspective on how to package things, how to bundle them, and it was cool. What about you, Jeremy? I mean, he's been studying a ton of the solar stuff, and I think you probably picked up the most of anyone because you actually understood a lot of what it was from your training. So what did you pick up today from Eric's visit to Rio Blanco and our time? We took Eric to a very fine Texas establishment that he was not aware of, called Twin Peaks, and the food is excellent, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Top notch sandwich was delicious. So what did you get out of that deal, Jeremy?
Yeah, it was just his unique way of thinking, the way that, I mean, you put everything into perspective, how it was more just breaking down numbers. And if it makes sense, it makes sense. Like, there's no sleazy way to do it. You just don't even sell it. You just show them the numbers, show them how this benefits every homeowner. And some people aren't a good fit. So if they're not a good fit, hey, shake hands, we'll be friends. But for the majority of people that are a good fit, this is why. And I mean, just the unique spin that you have on solar, the way you look at solar is different than I've heard every other person talk about solar. And it was just refreshing to hear a whole new side that not many people either know or want to give out. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
And it's crazy to hear how San Antonio or Texas, like, are like how far we're behind compared to, hearing what's going on over there. And it's crazy.
Yeah, I think that what California is doing, Texas will definitely follow suit soon, and just getting that jump from you, kind of how you're already far ahead over there, giving us that little insight is very helpful for us. And like I said, I think all of us had our thinking caps on, and we're thinking totally differently outside that, door to door. Hey, I'm here to help you sell solar. Like, no way, man. You got to think past that and really open the floodgates, because like they say, we're in a gold rush, and I think we have a good unique situation here with Rio and the solar and roofing together. So 100%. Thank you again. That was some good stuff for lunch.
Yep. It's very awesome that we can get the top people in our industry to stop by our office and go have lunch with us and all that. And we appreciate it very much. And our new guy, Frank, who is our commercial specialist, that was what he and I were talking about this morning. He's like, this whole business is about knowing people and networking. And it's a little bit of a flex that we got San Diego's most famous roofer on his very first day with the company. So I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow, but that was a pretty good thing for us. And then we got to go look at some commercial jobs like we were talking about at lunch today. And my perspective on a couple things changed there as well. But the IHOP roofs were pretty toast. They're in bad shape. So I think there's going to be some potential to do something there. And that was Jeremy who, he got the in with everybody over there. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm excited about that.
We got a couple more
video. It doesn't look like it's going to be a hard sell to sell them on a green roof. They're already there.
Right. It's already like 90% green. That's for sure. Yeah. Doesn't have any Scotch Guard on it. But yeah, that's awesome. I wanted to talk about something else real quick, because tomorrow I do have another episode of Keepin It Rio that we're going to drop, episode 84. And it's my friend Dimitri. And Dimitri has a company, Garden of Panacea, which is a hemp and I don't even know it's a farm, right? Like, it's not, I don't know how to describe it. It's a cool place that's got all kinds of amazing stuff going. But I've been in East Texas for the last 3 days, and I came back today. I had a box in my office that was kind of a care package from a buddy, and he's going to be on an episode tomorrow. But I wanted to kind of share a couple of the things that he sent, because it's pretty good, folks. I think you should probably take a look at Garden of Panacea. But Dimitri sends all these, like, these are like homemade, I think it's like whipped honey. They've got pumpkin.
Sorry, my bad. I did see that you were talking about that, and I saw stickers and stuff. So I looked them up, liked them on Facebook, and kind of looked to see what it's not just like hemp stuff. It's honey. They have their own honeybees. I did see that like some I can't even pronounce them. Maraschino cherries. I don't even know. You could probably say maraschino cherries. Like all different kinds of plants and vegetables, fruits, and all this stuff and it's pretty cool. How everything, I guess, organic and all that's good, grown.
It is, and it's a very unique story, because this is one of my best friends, and it's him and his wife just started their company. And it's definitely a passion of his for as long as I've known him. Definitely, he's been a passionate guy for the whole, organic and all the stuff that goes with it. But they make some really good stuff. He sent me some relish. I mean, and this is all made on his farm in Indian Trail, North Carolina. And that is Garden of Panacea again. And tomorrow, Dimitri will be featured on our 1-hour episode of Keepin It Rio. So I highly encourage everybody to watch that, because I think you're going to really love what he's got. And it's he's just a cool guy. So thank you to Dimitri. Jeremy had a couple things as well that Dimitri sent over, because he does have a CBD line as well. So we got some of the that stuff. And I got a soy candle as well. So it's my office smells great. It looks great. It tastes great. Everything good's going on. We got Thump hot sauce in the back. We've got Garden of Panacea. We got it all. I think he's got some Rice Krispies or some Reese Puffs
Some
or whatever
cereal.
So there you go. That's my friend Dimitri. Tomorrow he will be on. I think it's going to be at 3:00 Central. It'll be live on our stream here as well as on our YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for that. Jeremy, I see you're throwing down something over there. What you eating? What is
Strawberries
that?
and cream.
Strawberries and cream. What's going
Hey,
on with
where was
that?
it from? What was this place? What was it called?
I think it's Fruteria La Mission. It's a stem off. There's a well-known one by the old Mission Drive-In on Roosevelt, and I don't know the cross street, but yes. So like, we were in the area, and I was like, hey, let's stop on through, and sure enough, we did. But yeah, it's called Fruteria La Mission. I think it's the number 2, and that's on Goliad and Bill Miller Lane by the original Bill Miller.
Eric, since you're in town, you got to go try these fruit cup places.
That's
They've
what I was
got
going to
fruit
ask you,
cups.
Eric. Do you guys have stuff like this in
Oh,
San
yeah.
Diego? I'm sure you do, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, I think the San Antonio twist is a little bit, it's unique.
I want to know, what were those things like a couple months ago? They were like,
The
Mangonadas.
they had like churros sticking out of it and tahine, and it looked like tamarindo,
Yeah.
like syrup all up in it.
That's what they
Mango-
call them.
mangonada.
Yeah.
Mangonada.
Okay. Those
Yeah.
look amazing.
You can find them on any corner in San Antonio, like,
Nice.
no joke. And you get a giant one for like $3. It's the greatest thing ever. I'm so glad I live in San Antonio because I never would have known about that. But looks like we might be having some technical difficulties on our LinkedIn. Apologize for the difficulties if that is the case, but I can't do anything about it at the moment.
Oh
I
no.
apologize to Russell if he's not able to watch Keeping It Rio right now.
I'm just surprised I haven't dropped them. Kind of on the road in like 3-mile-an-hour traffic on 16-4.
It's coming in loud and clear. You're doing great. So that's pretty awesome. Ant's on his way to, what are you doing tonight, Ant? You got an event going on?
Yes, DJ. I just actually passed it right now about a DJ in Hillsdale's Ice House, 1604 in Babcock. I'm there 9 to 2. Pretty DJ open format. It's a good time. But right now I'm actually heading to a meeting for a couple that I'm doing their wedding on September 17th.
There you go. Ant is one of the premier DJs in San Antonio. He does events on the regular, and I think it'd be cool if he offered everyone in the wedding party a free solar assessment, compliments of Rio Blanco Roofing and Solar. Nobody trusts anybody more than their wedding DJ. So there you go.
That is for sure. Yep, I handle one of a kind events, and what kind of why rent your own energy when you can own it.
Exactly, my friend. So Ant's going to make a lucrative DJ / solar representative career of himself, and he's going to do an amazing job with that. Something else I wanted to talk to you guys about, especially Jeremy and Ant, because you guys are like Texas Longhorn fans, right? Eric, what about you? Eric has a very unique story. He actually used to be in the NFL.
No.
Indirectly. We talked about that on our thing as a cameraman, right?
Well, my original was my father was a strength and conditioning coach here in San Diego. He was for the Padres, Chargers, and Aztecs. So I was a ball boy, bat boy, towel boy for basketball.
Wow.
So my original work with NFL was ball boying. But then I took a break and did some work for CBS, did some camera work and stuff.
It's pretty stellar right there. I like how you're just all calm. Like, yeah, I used to do
Yeah.
camera work for the NFL and PGA. But that's pretty stellar, right? So we do have football this coming weekend, right? I think Texas is opening theirs. Or did they play last week? I honestly didn't even know that the season was going yet, and there were games last week. But that's because the real teams don't play till this week. You got the Buckeyes playing against Notre Dame, and Buckeyes are favored by 17.5. Everybody think the Buckeyes are going to cover 17.5. Does anybody dispute that? Against the number 5 team in the nation.
Upset or what?
Upset what, dude? Buckeyes by at least 35. Because the reason I say this is Notre Dame's new head coach is Marcus Freeman, former Ohio State great, former Chicago Bear. But anytime a former Buckeye plays the Buckeyes as a head coach, they usually get destroyed in the first one. And then Notre Dame will like win the national title in 2 years. Like Luke Fickell at Cincinnati, his first year he played the Buckeyes. I think it was like 52-0. Like it was bad. And then they like never lost another game the rest of the year. But I think that's going to happen to Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame.
I think I left my headphones at the office.
You just bought them?
Yeah, actually, Jeremy. Sorry, I just realized that right now. I'm going through my internal checklist. I guess Jeremy, if you can grab them, I'll text you after. My bad. I'm sorry.
All right.
You know, Anthony, you know what would be pretty savage if you purchased a 10 kilowatt hour battery and you power your entire set during a wedding off of a battery.
Oh,
And then you kind of announce that, hey, this is I didn't even plug in. This is all off of our battery that we charged up with our solar on our office.
You see how that's thinking outside?
I would have never thought of that at all. And let's do it, buddy. How much are batteries? 10 grand?
End phase, end charge battery, 7 kilowatt hour. I want to say it's around $7,500.
I didn't. They would be portable like that.
Do what?
They would be portable like that. You could
Absolutely.
I thought it was. Hey, I didn't know.
See, that might be above my pay grade, so I might have to talk to my C10 electrical engineer and see how we can do that. But I mean, we powered up his house down in San Felipe 100% off the grid. So we put all the solar up there, and he's got a bunch of D-cell battery, and he's 100% off the grid.
If that's the case, we did have an idea of doing tailgates because we have UTSA football here in town at the Alamo Dome. That'd be something, there's no, noise or anything like that. This is powered off solar. We can power a tailgate. Why not power your house kind of thing?
Dude. Yay. Bumper stickers are always louder than or actions are always louder than bumper stickers, right? So you can scream, I do solar and I do battery. But if you show them actually how it works, they're going to come out and want to say, hey, how is that working? They're going to look at it. They're going to want to scratch it, sniff it, taste it, touch it. You get all 5 senses firing, man. And you have some people really intrigued.
Damn.
Bam. That's marketing 101.
I mean, perfect example. It's always like whenever you go to flea market or one of those, I guess, trade shows, like you have it's the number one thing and you have to see it to believe it. It's the choppers. They have you can slice it this way, slice it that way. People are going to buy it until they see it, So it's kind of like the same tactic, but we're going to try that with solar.
The ShamWow.
Yeah, you go to those trade booths and you build an easy
Sponge
up
Daddy
with just panels on top.
Yeah.
Make your tabletop a panel, make your easy up a panel. Just power that thing all right there and just show them how it works. They're gonna trust you. You know what I mean? You're an actual person who understands it, designs it, and they're gonna really like you better.
Yep. And that's the key to making a successful relationship with a client.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Solar powered UTSA tailgates. Let's go.
That's going to be awesome if we do that. If we can get
we're going to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have UTSA tailgates brought to you by Rio Blanco Solar. And that's going to be awesome. See, Eric has brought so much value to us today that it's insane.
Yeah. Powered by the Soul. And then we get Soul beer to sponsor.
Oh, look at him.
All of a sudden, now it's not just business, but it's also going to be a lot of fun.
You're funneling out now.
I didn't even know Soul was beer. I thought it was soda, actually. I'm not from Texas. I've lived here for 10 years, though, so I should have known that, right?
You're a Texan now.
I am. So, hey, guys, last week we didn't have Keepin' It Rio because Jeremy, Chuck, and Ant went and did a special event. Thursday night, we went to minor league baseball last week, and I got to give a report on minor league baseball. I thought it was pretty awesome. Have you guys been to the San Antonio Missions before?
I had never known.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so Ant kind of knew what was up. Jeremy, I've been living here for 3.5 years, and I've always wanted to go, but I didn't even know where the thing was. So we skipped off on Keepin' It Rio last week, and we went to a ball game, and it was the San Antonio Missions against the
Midland Rock.
The Midland Rockhounds. Yes. Yep. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome another guest who's a normal, regular panelist to the show, straight out of East Texas. Tyler, I don't remember the town that this gentleman actually lives in, but check it out. We've got the other Eric. Eric Schugel is in the house. Eric, what's up? How are you doing? He's gonna unmute and he's gonna say, "Good."
I'm good.
Yes, Eric, check it out. We got your favorite guy in the industry up here, Eric the Roofer.
Yeah,
and
please.
we've been talking solar. I'm excited because I think you and Eric are gonna have like a super good connection and like have some interesting conversations. So, what's up, Iverson? How you doing?
The Brady Bunch. I told you.
Yep. This is pretty stellar now. We got the 5 thing going on. So, Eric, we were just talking about solar, and Eric, the other Eric the Roofer, had a pretty sweet idea for some stuff that we were going to do with Ants DJing. We're going to make it go 100% solar, and we're going to go do tailgates with it. So, should be pretty awesome, right?
That would be sweet.
Heck yeah. So, what have you been up to today, Eric? I haven't seen you all day. Yesterday, I didn't see you yesterday either, but a couple
you
days
had
this
a
week
meeting
I
all
have.
day, I guess.
I had a meeting all day yesterday, and it was good. It was really, really good. I didn't get home until late because I met up at North Zulch, Texas with Brett Newton and Clayton, and I had dinner over there with those guys. But I was in Tyler the last couple of days. Took a nice ride with Eric the other day, and I learned something. It was private chat. Let's see. All right, that's Ant, I think. Probably.
Oh, my bad. I should have just interrupted.
It's all good.
No,
I was going to read it anyway. You know how I roll. Private chats be damned. I'm reading them live.
Yeah. So
Which
all right, guys,
Eric
well,
were you talking about in that private text? And which Eric are you talking about? Oh, he says
Gotta go.
Eric S. Okay, never mind. I got you, Ant. Never mind, buddy. So it's cool. But Eric, you and I went to, where'd we go? Longview, Texas.
Yep.
And I learned something pretty cool from Eric Schugel about football cards. Eric
Why?
has you had a 1 of 15 Herbert auto, right?
Yeah.
Those 3 terms are correct. And you're going to buy it for one price and then sell it for another price. I'm not going to give any details because if you want to continue on with this scenario,
Oh, it's going to happen.
I feel like it is. I feel like you called the guy and told him, like, I'll be back.
I did.
I'll make
We
it
talked
do.
about it. We did actually chat. Joe
There you
thinks
go.
it's funny.
I mean, it's kind of funny, I guess. I mean, I kind of know what's
It's not
going
that
on.
funny. I mean, I found a good deal. I got to make a little bit for finding it. Finder's fee.
Yeah, it's a pretty good finder's fee. Just saying. I'm just kidding. Eric's doing some good stuff with keeping it any given break. I'm sorry, I was going to call it Keepin It Rio, but obviously you're doing a great job with Keepin It Rio. We also went over some of our stuff that we got, Eric, from our friends over at Garden of Panacea.
Nice.
We got some chocolate whipped honey. We got some salsa here. We got some relish. You like relish, Eric?
Put it on a brat.
There you go. Got some pumpkin spice. It's that time of year, right? Pretty stellar, eh? So, Eric, we had Eric Richardson with us today doing solar training for our guys, and it was amazing. You are the solar expert with Rio Blanco. So I was wanting to see if you guys had anything, if you had any questions for Eric about any of this stuff, because, dude, this guy is a genius, and he really taught us a ton today. So what kind of information would you want to get from
I don't know.
Eric about?
How long have you been doing the solar? Where do you do it? Where do you guys do it out of?
Basically, well, I've been around solar since my beginning in roofing in the 90s. Solar's always been around San Diego. So as a roofer,
so that's where you're see, I don't know your background that well.
but as far
Okay.
as installing it, selling it, and actually learning how it works, a year. Well, we started our solar company about 1 year ago.
Okay.
We got 8 months. So and just in January is when we got
Same
licensed.
with us, pretty much.
Yeah. So, but I've been around it the whole time. You know, I've encountered it. Have to get them detach and reset. Worked with probably, God, I'd say at least a dozen solar contractors in the beginning when it first started really exploding. What I did was I started calling around to learn about it, and so I called solar companies saying, "Hey, who do you use as your roofer right now? Because if we tag team these sales, we can use your sales expertise, my sales expertise. I can help you facilitate getting the jobs, and I'll do your roofing for you." So I would do roofing for a lot of these solar combos for different solar companies. I never liked, there was one guy I liked. There was one company. He was my old boss. He's from Germany. His dad had a roofing company in Germany. He had a roofing company here for like 20 years. He comes from a long line of roofers, super meticulous German guy. And he said, I'm out of roofing. I want to do solar. The margins are better and the work's not even as hard. And so I was referring to him. So when I was in there, customer would say, hey, do you have a roofer? And I'd say, yeah, this dude right here, he's the only solar guy. I said, this guy is the only solar guy that I would let my parents use, that I would refer to friends, because he has a knowledge of roofing. And the roofing aspect is so much more important than solar. Because that black box, right? That little black box that goes on the roof is that same black box that goes on a tile roof, on a shingle roof, on a flat roof. Doesn't matter on a ground mount. Doesn't matter where that black box goes. It's the integration to that roof that's very important. This thing, you go and just set this in the backyard, you throw it out, it's going to produce power. That's what it's designed to do. But when you start making those penetrations, that's far more important to the customer. The customer, their number one concern is it going to jack up my roof and cause leaks? Is it going to void my warranty? I promise you, it's not about their return on investment. It's not about how much it's going to cost. It's about if it's going to jack up their roof. It really is. That's the root of it. And so as roofers, if you add solar, bro, I'm telling you, the way that you package it, the way that you explain it, you're going to be the only trusted source for solar going forward.
Yes.
Yep. And I think Eric Schugel has done a great job of that already because he's got the knowledge of it. And just like the way that he presents it is, it's just that. It's like, look, here's what it is. It makes sense or it doesn't make sense. And it's not a pushy sales presentation. It's not anything that's, it's not canned. It's not scripted. And I think that's what gives us the advantage, honestly, is I think we all are good at just being kind of natural and just having a conversation with people. And that's the key, right?
Yeah.
So
it really is. It's about relationships, and in California. So we're not used to this whole rent a company subcontractor kind of model, right? And so what really broke the straw for me was the lack of commitment, the lack of communication, the lack of attention. It was always being passed on. Oh, that's not my department. And I did a roof for a customer. The customer chose a solar contractor that knocked his door. Okay. I don't know if I want to name names. Solar company A knocked his door. Okay. He signed a contract with solar company A. Solar company A used an EPC who was based out of Hawaii. Okay. So solar company B did the designing, the paperwork, the engineering, the plan set, putting together the order, basically doing it all, right? And that it's like these EPCs are starting to pop up now. And so then the person who actually did the work, who I was working with closely, because it was a shingle roof, and I said, hey, you guys have stanchions here. You're not using quick mount. You're going to use a stanchion mount. So I need you to come out and mount the stanchions as I shingle up, just like a pipe flashing on your roof. I don't go and shingle it up and then come and slide the pipe jack on and lift the shingles and try to do it backwards, right? So I'm trying to work with this guy. So there was 3 companies involved: the knocker, the EPC, and then the installer. So it was just it was really frustrating. This company was based out of Arizona. This company was based out of Hawaii, and this company was here local in San Diego. So the customer was frustrated. He's like, I keep getting transferred to a different quality assurance company, trying to get you answers of when they're going to start so that I can start. And it was an absolute fiasco. And it was just like that over and over and over again. And customers, I was seeing their frustration. And so I'd ask customers, I was like, hey, how'd everything go? Did we meet your expectations? Yeah, you did, yada, yada. Hey, let me ask you, how'd that solar go for you that we were working with? No, like this, like that. I go, would you be interested if I started a solar company? Would that weigh in your decision? Would you have said, hey, yeah, I want you to do my solar and roof, or would you still hire out a different solar company? 9 out of 10 were saying, dude, I would want it all in one company, one contract, one phone number, one warranty, one person to call. And so I was just doing this testing of the waters, and I finally just said, you know what, it's time. I got to save these people. They're getting so frustrated, and I need to save them.
I think that's what we're all here for. It's the right mission. We're all just trying to help everybody because it's not going to get any cheaper. It's only going to get worse as we go. And, now's the time to look back 20 years from now and say, I made a good decision. So I love the fact that that's going on. We were kind of comparing the differences between your home in San Diego and us here in Texas, and they don't have really any comparable qualities. Everything's completely different in California. You've got a lot more to work with. You've got a lot more to deal with. Down here, it's kind of like, I joke sometimes and tell my clients, you could go start Mrs. Jones Roofing tomorrow and go sell your neighbors as a roofing pro. But how much are you saving your people down there in San Diego? Because the bills there are even more ridiculous than they are in Texas, which is crazy.
Yeah. Let's see. I got a lead today, came in. Where's that bill? I want to say he was at like 47 cents a kilowatt hour. I mean, it was ridiculous. He's averaging like $650 a month.
It's insane.
His return is at 3 years, 8 months.
We were talking a little bit about your financing too, and I thought your finance model was pretty cool, and the way that you were thinking about how you did it. And it was something that it triggered stuff in our minds. But what's your thought process on the finance model? As right now, a lot of people are focusing on, you're going to have this payment over the next 20 plus years. I really love your perspective on it. Why don't you explain that a little bit to our team here and to everyone that's watching? Because I thought that was absolute brilliance.
Yeah, there's no better feeling than when you pay off your house. Back when I was a kid, there used to be house payoff parties, be huge block parties for when you paid off your house. There's no better feeling when you pay off your car and you keep that car for another 5 years, 10 years, 15 years with zero payment, right? You never really sign. If you plan on driving your car for 15 years, are you going to sign up for a 15-year payment plan? No way.
Not unless you're crazy.
Right. You're going to have a payment plus maintenance because it's getting older, right? But you pay that thing off early. You start stacking that cash. Now you're like, oh, man, you know what? I think I want to upgrade my suspension. I haven't had a $300 payment in 2.5 years. Now I can throw some money back into it, right? And so over the long run, I'm not there to even have them sense sales out of me. I'm there to make an investment with them and save them, right? So it's like this. There's a guy who wrote a book about solar sales. He said he has attributed most of his sales to the tax credits and the net metering, those deadlines, right? Because I would imagine, now I'm just speculating, in an insurance model, you're probably not doing face-to-face sales. You're probably jumping on the side of the homeowner and then kind of pointing the finger at the insurance company as like, hey, we need them to help you. So you're almost going shoulder to shoulder with them, right? You're on their side, and it's now them as the enemy, right? So if you use that same model, and now it's the SDG&E, right? The SDG&E is the enemy. You're now trying to save them from the electric company, okay? And now these deadlines, they're the ones holding the gun to their head, not you, right? So you just have to manipulate this into, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm on your side. Let's see how we can take advantage of the system. Let's get you to own your energy. Now, that's so powerful. Are you ever going to own your energy if you're in a lease with a forever payment at 12 cents a kilowatt hour? No, you're never going to own it, right? Are you ever going to own your energy with a 25-year loan when your system's rated to last for 25 years? No, that system's going to die, and then you're going to jump back into another one with another 25-year loan, right? So it's all about breaking the numbers down for them. It's like, listen, I want to show you your return on investment. And it's what I do is I just show them. I take a pencil and paper out. I don't have these fancy design things, right? I chose Open Solar. Open Solar is free, and it's only for me to drop the panels on the roof and design it so that I can send something into the city so they can put a stamp on it and I can build the system. It's not to wow anybody. It's not for fluff. My fluff is getting a pencil and paper out and showing them, okay, you're spending this much per month on electricity. Let's average that at the end of the year. Let's factor in 0.07 at a 7% increase each year that the electric company does. And I can take their bill out and I can show them. I go, look at last year was 8%. This one was 7%. This year was 9% jump. It's on paper. It's not a sales pitch. It's me just taking actual evidence and supplying it to them. Go look at now. Let's take this solar system that we just built. It's a X amount of panels, X inverters, say no battery, right? $20,000. Let's use a round number. Now let's factor that. How long is it going to take for you to hit that $20,000 mark paying the electric company? That's that return on investment number, right? So I really want them to look at that, and I want them to figure that out, because I want their terms to be on that. Like, I don't want their terms to be greater than that. If they want it to be less and double payment, that's great. But I want that term to be right on that return on investment number. And they're going to see it. They're going to see it. And then I'm going to show them. I go, look at this other one. Let's just do the math on it, right? They're going to, for 25 years. Yeah, he has a lower payment. He has a lower monthly payment, right? That may work in lower income, fixed income households. But it's not for everybody. You know, I would probably tailor it a couple different ways. If you're going into a fixed income situation where you want to save them just a monthly number, yeah, lower it. But it's going to be like that for a long time, for a 20-year loan, 25-year loan. Now, what I want to do is I want to get them to pay off. I want to show them the return on investment. And then I go, okay, this pays off in 4 years, 8 months. Now, this 25-year system, let's see how many years from 4.5 years to 25. Now, add up $300 a month, all those months. That's the amount of savings you're going to have, right? Now, let's go over this other package at $150 a month, $100 a month for 25 years. Bro, I'm saving them like $30,000 to $40,000 difference than the competition. And it's by simply paying that off at that return on investment number line.
It's amazing when you think of it like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
a
you don't have to sell it. It's just there. It's just right there.
Right.
That's why you're one of the best in the industry. I was going to see if Eric Schugel had any kind of commentary on that. Anything to mention on that one, Eric? That was pretty slick. What he was talking about, the shorter term. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that was good. That's pretty, use the same thing. It's pretty clear, obviously, when they really think about it, that their payment's going to actually end at one point.
Yep. And I never have to slide it around, right? So because it's a 5.990 dealer fee, whether they want to pay cash or they want to finance it, I'm not going, oh, I got to add some more to it. You want to finance it? Oh, you want a cash deal? Let me take some off, right? Done. You got one number, one deal, sell it, show them the return. By the time you're done explaining the math and how much their savings are, usually 9 out of 10 go, well, shit, I'm sold. Where do I sign? I mean, it's like, I'm not doing any tricks and any objection jumpers or anything. It's just about the numbers.
Yeah, I think our biggest thing is that we've been approaching it as still sort of a salesman mentality, just because that's what we are. I think we're like, rah, here's the savings. And I don't think you have to do that at all. Like you say, put the thing down basic. Give me a pencil and a paper. Go as old school as you could possibly go and say, boom, boom, boom. And that's the way it works. The savings that you're seeing for your people in California, obviously 6 figures over the life of the system.
Oh yeah.
That's
in a 25-year system. They're well into the 6 figures.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? And there's no the question I always get is what's the catch? So let me ask you this, Eric. What's the catch?
Well, that big old orange thing up there, it's fucking real. You know what I mean?
You know?
It's real.
What?
It's beaming. Go to the beach without sunscreen. Do you get burnt? Okay.
Sometimes.
Well, let's see, how can we catch that? You know, it's like people with that harvest rain, they put up gutters, they catch that rain, right? They put it into a bucket. Well, that big old orange thing's doing the same thing. Just catch it.
There
That's
you
it.
go.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, so simple. And that's
It
what I
is.
love about solar is it's not hard. I mean, there's
No.
absolutely nothing other than look. You know, I was joking yesterday that my closing line was just going to be, you know, what are you, stupid? And I feel like that could probably work on a lot of these deals because
Definitely.
you look at it and say, what are you, stupid? Like, here you go.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing. I love the fact that you use the higher interest rate, no dealer fee method as well. That's pretty interesting. That's not the one that we've been utilizing, and it sparked some stuff in our minds. So we've come up with some pretty good ideas. And like I said, Eric, you really ignited something today when we were at lunch. I could clearly see everybody was like really involved and engaged in it, and it was awesome. I think we're getting ready. Rio Blanco is getting ready to have a huge run with our solar division, with our commercial roofing, and with our residential as well. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. So it's a super exciting time for us. It's been a great day. I'll be honest. You know, yesterday you reached out and said you were going to be in San Antonio, and I was going to be here, but I made damn sure I was here early today so we could go grab some lunch and hang out a little bit. And it's always an honor. We've got to do that a couple times now. And, you know, what I really appreciate about you is what you said, that it's just trying to give back your love for teaching and your passion to help other people. And that's what really makes, you know, that's what makes a good fit for us as friends and industry buddies and all that. And we've all got that common tie with Mike Code. And I always think it's funny because you're on all the roofing pages, but you were talking again about how there's not a whole lot of that over where you're at. And you're like the lone guy. And that's what makes you unique. You know, it's like you stand out from the crowd. And when the crowd all looks the same, you got to look a little bit different. You got to be a little bit loud or, you know, say stuff a little bit differently. And you've definitely mastered that. So kudos to you.
There's way more smarter people than me in California. Like, wait, dude, I'm just a guppy, you know. It's just that we don't know about these groups. The only roofing conference that we knew about was Western States and the IRE. None of these other ones focus on retail roofing. So they don't even market to us. They don't advertise to us. You go and ask 20 roofers, like, because I'm right now vice president of the Roofing Association. If I went into that room and I asked them, hey, what conferences do you guys know about? They're going to be like, Western States. Like, we're on our own little island over there. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It's pretty cool. So let me ask you this. Last year, you did get to go to RoofCon. We met there, and it was awesome. You traveled from one side of the country to the other. What was your impression of that? Was that your first actual, you know, event like that in your career with roofing? And, you know, what was your takeaway? Do you think that was something that provided value to you? Or like you said, they're not really generating anything that's geared towards what you're doing, but were you able to take something away from it? Or, you know, was it just kind of a networking deal?
It was networking. I mean, all the solar vendors were trying to push this EPC model. And as you can tell, I'm not for that at all. I think that people should take that in-house and have 100% control of it to save customers from that damn headache. But Hunter, I'm a big fan of Hunter and what he's done. That conference, you know, the only conferences that I've ever been is Western States, the IRE, and the Duralast sales one every year. What RoofCon reminded me of was the Duralast. Because like at the Western States and the IRE, there's not all these breakout education type stuff. But Duralast has, it's not really like an expo. It's more of education, training, and paying homage to their contractors all at the same time. So it was more similar to Duralast because of all the education that you got out of it with the breakout sessions. It wasn't just a floor to go walk around on, you know? And so now when you look at all these conferences, how they charge money, every roofer in California, they're free. Western states and the IRE are just free to go walk around the expo. Like we don't pay money to go to those. You know what I mean? And so a lot of California contractors like, whoa, you want me to pay to go to that? Like, what are you talking about? That's what you charge your vendors and advertising for. So it's just, we have a different mindset. You know what I mean? But then again, that's California. And I would say most of us in California, if like the surf's up that day, none of us are going to go. Like we're doing something else. And that's hands down across the board. Like if you go to a Charger game or a Padre game, you'll notice that they're always the visiting team in their own stadium. Okay. So you go to like a Charger game and they're playing the Chiefs. You look in the crowd, it's probably 80% red compared to what it is. Now, first of all, maybe there was surf that day or the snow just powdered because we're, 2 hours away from going snow skiing, 20 minutes to go to the beach. There's always something better to do. But what I think it really is let's say you're a diehard fan, right? You're a Buckeyes fan, right?
Yes.
And you buy season tickets and you want to do a one game on the road, right? Are you going to go to Wisconsin? Or are you going to pick like a San Diego road game or a Vegas road game? You know what I mean? And so
Michigan road game.
Right. So a lot of what it is they're one road game of the year. They're coming there. And so our stadiums are always full of the opposing team. And that's just always how it's been in San Diego. So it's kind of just our laid back kind of, we're known as flakes because like you'll make plans with somebody, but then somebody says, hey dude, the surf's pumping. And you're like, shit, hey, I'm not going to come golf today. The surf's good. I'm going to go, So it's just, there's so much to do that we're known as flakes and lackadaisical. But I think it's just a way of life that's kind of been ingrained in California for so long.
Yeah, I mean, why not, dude? If you could get away with it, right? I remember you telling the story about why you got into roofing originally was because you liked going surfing every day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no better reason or no more pure reason to do what we do than that. And you're true to yourself. That's what's so cool about it. You're definitely true to yourself. You make sure that you're having fun in life and enjoying the roofing deal. You're one of the coolest guys in the industry. And I think that you probably don't realize how popular you might actually be. But you're well respected by just about everybody that I know in this industry. If anybody says Eric Richardson, it's just, a smile, and that dude's awesome. He's just a great guy that's here to help. So we appreciate you. We're coming up here on our hour that we allocate every Thursday for Keepin It Rio. So we'll start winding down a little bit. Jeremy, is there anything else that you'd like to talk to Eric about before we call it a day, do our little rah, whatever we do to end our program? And then I'm going to tell everybody about the one I'm doing tomorrow. So what up?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, thank you again for, coming down and having lunch and talking to the guys and talking to me. It was really eye-opening for me, and I appreciate all the nuggets you gave us. Not many people will do that, and I appreciate that for real. So thank you for that. I don't know. Yeah, it was a great day. So, I mean, I don't want to keep this going, but just thank you.
It was an awesome day. Eric, what about you? Iverson's got him a Rio Blanco green, sweet looking car. How would you like to end our episode number 83, Mr. Schugel?
Marshall's finally quiet. Yeah, things are good. I loved that you guys were able to go meet Eric Richardson. I see your posts, so they're fun.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yep, absolutely. And it's funny because we were talking, Eric is in the same market as Matt, the guy that does our solar program for us. And I was hanging out with him yesterday, and the dude with one of the other companies was here doing a consultation. So small world. Of course, my partners, Clint and Joe, are both from San Diego as well. So it's pretty awesome. But yeah, we appreciate you taking the time, Eric. I know you're hanging out over here in San Antonio. what's the forecast for the rest of the week for you? You on your way back home tomorrow? What time you flying out?
I fly out like 10:45 tomorrow, land 11:45 because of the time change.
Nice. You're gonna like our airport. It's very nice here in San Antonio. It's very easy to get around. It's simple. And we are very thankful that you were here in San Antonio today. I hope you had a great day in Texas and that it was very welcoming to you. I've got an interview that I'm going to post tomorrow, like I said, with my buddy Dimitri with Garden of Panacea. I think that's a great episode that everybody should watch because it's going to really open your eyes to a lot of cool stuff that's going on with he and his family and their farm in North Carolina, which is completely federally regulated and 100% highly legit. Look forward to that. And I got some cool Keeping It Rios coming up tomorrow. I'm going to interview Donald Kelly, the sales evangelist, which if you guys don't know Donald, definitely want to follow that guy. He's one of my top guys ever in the history of sales. And on my Mount Rushmore, he's up there with guys like Mike Code and stuff like that. So looking forward to that. And then Tuesday next week, Dale Childress Jr. So we've got some cool guests coming up. We got a new sponsor down here as well. I wanted to mention the Hook Agency. It's kind of transparent. You can't see it, but Tim Brown was on our episode last week. It was very well received. Got a lot of viewers. We appreciate Tim and we appreciate his contribution to Keeping It Rio. So thank you guys for that. And if anybody else has anything to say, now's a great opportunity. If not, we shall bid adieu to our fans until tomorrow when they can witness another excellent episode of Keeping It Rio.
I want to say thank you guys for opening your doors today. A lot of roofers are very territorial, and that's kind of rare, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, we've got a good group, and that's what's cool about it. And I tell people there's definite division in our industry, which sucks, but it's also a beautiful thing because the people on one side really, they never accomplish anything. They're always hating on people. They're always talking bad and doing stupid things. But the guys on the other side are willing to come down and you taught my guys stuff today that nobody else could do. Mm-hmm. And, we took you to lunch. I mean, my God, you could have probably charged me 10 grand for what we learned today. It's retroactively, you can't do it now, but it was awesome. And I love doing that. Like I said, I like being able to go and do that as well. I get to go with Mike Code and travel and do that. So pretty awesome stuff. Before we end, we definitely want to give a shout out. Thank you to our sponsor, Thump Hot Sauce back here. As well as the bar of soap from the Bargain Buggy. It's autographed by me, and we're going to send that to Troy Anderson at some point. It's in the place where the honey mustard was that I broke. So I think that's a good way for us to end Keeping It Rio. We appreciate our fans very much. It's been doing great. Got a lot of cool guests coming up. So keep watching, and we'll keep doing it. And thank you guys. Until next time, keep on keeping it Rio.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.